The best 10-game start in franchise history on the road for the Dallas Stars as they blank the Winnipeg Jets 2-0. Jake Oettinger picks up his first shutout of the season. And for my money, the best defensive performance of the season for the Dallas Stars. Let's break this one down next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105.3 The Fan and play-by-play voice of the Chippewa Steel. Be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. The Dallas Stars continue their excellence on the road. A shutout against the Winnipeg Jets. Jake Oettinger with 27 saves, and the defense really tightened things up. And Joe Pavelski and Tyler Seguin are your goal scorers, and a really solid 60-minute effort for the Dallas Stars as they really had to survive a wave of Jets in the third period who were making life very, very tough. But Stars able to hold on and pick up their 13th win of the season, now improved to 13-5-2 with 28 points. A couple of points behind the leaders in the Central Division, the Colorado Avalanche, and they have a game in hand. So on to Calgary now, but let's talk a bit about this one further. A fun contest in Winnipeg. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So the Stars continue to be road warriors, best start in franchise history as they improve to 8-1-1 on the season. And they were so good in front of Otter last night. Jake was great as well. On the few lapses the Stars had, he made a couple of point-blank saves on Morrissey. Morrissey's going to be having nightmares of Otter tonight because he stoned him 1, 2, 3 times, it felt like, in the game, as Jake really needed a bounce-back performance. In his last 7 games, he dipped below 9 in his save percentage, and the Stars were giving up just a ton of grade A looks, and some of it wasn't just Otter, but he was a bit shaky, and he just looked every bit up to the challenge in Winnipeg last night, which was a great sign. And it just felt like an overall really solid game from other defensive pairings not named Miro Heiskanen and Ryan Suter. I thought Miro probably played one of his worst games of the season. He looks a bit sluggish, and maybe he's a bit tired. He's been having to play a ton of hockey. I get it. They put a lot on his shoulders. He's still effective by all means. Look, I'm not going to sit here and criticize him too much, but he hasn't been as tight, I think, in his play as he would have liked. But Hakanpaa and Lindell were really good in the game. Actually, Hakanpaa graded out as the highest game score according to Hockey Stat Cards, 2.69, 3 blocks. He played 21 minutes. And of course, the Stars had to kill off extended 5-on-3 time. So Hakanpaa and Lindell got a lot of use on the PK. Lindell played just under 3.5 minutes, and Hakanpaa played just over 3 minutes as well on the PK. So they were busy, but they dominated 5-on-5. I thought the Stars were great in their own zone. They just shut down plays. They killed plays early and were just able to get it out to center and create offense by driving wide and throwing pucks towards Hellenbuck. Look, Hellenbuck has played a lot of hockey lately, and he's a great netminder, but they were able to at least get bodies and send pucks into areas. And for my money too, they just seem to be a little more embracing the dump and chase game, which I really enjoyed. I mean, from everybody from the top down, the top line was really good in the game. I thought Hintz really found his stride. Robertson with great support, and of course they connect on the first goal of the game. Pavelski in front, just a little deflection. It did get challenged, and fortunately it stayed. A good goal for Joe Pavelski as he's the first star to reach double digits this season with his 10th goal of the season. He also picks up extends his point streak, I should say, to 7 games. Robertson and Hintz pick up the assist on the Pavelski goal. But they just were so good in front of their own net. Lindell, Lundqvist as well at some times. He had a great shift against Lowry when Lowry's a big guy, their captain for the Jets, into the corner. And Lundqvist did not back down, really bowed up and shouldered him off a puck. Next thing you know, the puck's out of their own end. So the Stars cleaned up a lot of things they needed to. They had a big issue in Calgary on transition defense, just not tracking back. That wasn't as much of an issue. There was only 1 or 2 times I can remember the Stars not picking up a forward or a defenseman that joined the rush for Winnipeg. The Morrissey one in the first period, I believe, comes out to me. But other than that, the Stars were much better at getting back, getting sticks on sticks, and just getting bodies in front of their netminder. And Otter was good, but he did not have to be great, I would say. And he was great in some small stretches. I mean, 5-on-3 time, they almost had 2 minutes of 5-on-3, and the Stars just bowed up. They blocked a ton of shots. They kept them to the perimeter. They did not allow a lot of interior in the slot. And Oettinger, of course, is going to have to be your best penalty killer in situations like that. And he came up with a couple of brilliant saves. And the Stars were able to stay perfect on the PK, which was a great sign. Winnipeg was 0 for 4 on the night. Stars were 0 for 2 on their power plays. Not much to report there, unfortunately. But I just thought it was just such a solidly played road game. And they seemed to be very determined to, get back and it just create chaos and put bodies in front of Jets players and not allow their creative skill, peppery guys to get in. I mean, Kyle Connor did not really have a huge impact on the game, and that guy's a hard guy to stop. I mean, look, he's pound for pound probably one of the best scorers in the National Hockey League at this point. But Suter and Miro did not have their best night. But I think this was a great showing from guys like Thomas Harley, who was really, really active. And I can't remember a time that he was really hemmed into his own zone. Him and Lundqvist, I thought, played really good. They've been a really, really nice pairing. Craig Smith being back is just a great addition. He adds such a dynamic to that fourth line. He broke in on that beautiful stretch pass from Harley too in the second period, I believe, on the breakaway, and he hit the pipe. He was creating stuff, and he's just so direct with his play. There's no wasted effort in Craig Smith's game. So effective on the forecheck, and more than not, he's creating offensive chances. I mean, the Corsi for percentage at 5-on-5 for the first 2 periods. Stars were well over 50%, 70% in that first period. Not so much in the third, because Winnipeg really made a push, and they had to take a few more chances. And sometimes you expect that, but at the same time, it wasn't like the Stars were taking on an onslaught. They made simple plays off the window and out, relieve some of the pressure, quick changes, keep rolling, and having fresh legs out. And they did that. So that's a great sign. Duchene line was really, really good too. Of course, they cash in late. I mean, what a pass from Mason Marchment, and great center lane drive for Seguin. Seguin and Duchene almost connected earlier in the game on a 2-on-1. And they were able to cash in that time. And that's, again, just great defensive work in front of Otter. You block a shot, and next thing you know, you're going the other way in an odd man rush, and the Stars cash in. It's turning defense into offense. And that was a great sign. Scoring chances in general, Stars had 22-18 against the Jets, just 7 high danger chances. It was a pretty low event hockey game, pretty, I guess, boring for certain standards. It's not your 7-4 Calgary game on Friday night, but I'll take this one every day of the week. Sign me up if the Stars can play this sound defensively and get great net minding, or just even good net minding on most nights. And that's really what's propelled them to one of the best records on the road this season, 8-1-1 now, which is the best franchise start. So big congrats to the boys. Pavelski, his 10th of the season. Seguin picks up his 7th of the season. What a great year he's having, which is such a good sign. Duchene graded out 2.24 game score. Seguin was up there too at 2.13, and Marchment was right behind him as they played a little over 13 minutes. I thought it was just a well played game. 3 takeaways for the Stars in the contest, just 4 giveaways for Winnipeg. And there's no way that's true. Winnipeg had a lot of turnovers in the first 40 minutes, and it really fed the Stars offense. They could have had a bit more. Roope Hintz with a great shorthanded chance too, and that could have took the air out of the Canada Life Center, but they get the job done. I thought it was a real workman-like effort from Dallas, which you're going to take on most nights. But let's touch a bit more on this PK. It's been so good, and of course, Oettinger with a bounce-back performance as the Stars blank the Winnipeg Jets by the final score of 2-0. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That's what brings home the winning trophy, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust skits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're not burning cash. You're burning rubber, folks. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. So the Stars' top PK in the NHL, or one of the tops, I should say, at least on the road. They were close to about 90%, which ranked second heading into yesterday's contest. And they go 4 for 4 on the job. And they had to kill off some really tough stretches of 5-on-3 time. And I really thought they did a phenomenal job at it. By the way, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. You should definitely go check it out. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories, all the local experts on Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. So go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Thank you to all you everydayers out there as well for tuning into Locked On Stars, and really appreciate the feedback. Follow me on Twitter at JoeyTheJet19. You can reach me there if you want to DM me for any reason. I don't know. I just spew some stuff out there, and I like to throw my thoughts into the air, even if no one is listening or taking them in, consuming. But what is consuming opposing power plays is the Stars PK. And I mean, just really great stuff. Winnipeg was pretty perimeter in a lot of their power play time. I mean, even on the 5-on-3, the Stars were just kind of shrinking. Shout out to Sam Steele. At a point, had to kill off a lengthy one. Radek Fox, of course, went to the box. So he's usually the point on the Stars triangle at 5-on-3, and they didn't have him. and Hakanpaa got a ton of time. Harley did a great job on the PK as well. It started off with winning a few draws, which certainly helped. They were exactly 50% both sides in the dots. On the power play, they were actually half and half too. So shorthanded, the Stars were 3 for 6. And that was able to kill off some time. But I mean, you can't expect to not get scored on most times. I mean, most power play units are going to say at 5-on-3, we got to cash in. And it felt like the Stars were just not going to give up anything. And Otter was great on his angles. He was good in his rebound control. He wasn't spitting back as much as he had been in recent starts. He was able to just kill some plays early, and the Stars are so good in the dots. If you got a chance to freeze, you freeze, right? And the Stars do such a good job at just pressuring teams in negative situations. So if a guy fumbles a puck, if the puck goes to the corner, you have a chance to pressure. On the sidewall, the guys turn your back to you. You can pressure there. Maybe send 2 guys, which they like to do on the 5-on-4. You get a forward that comes and pinches along with a D. You got to win the battle, of course. Otherwise, you open up a ton of opportunities on the weak side of the ice. But they pressure teams in negative situations, and they were able to relieve some of the pressure clear their own end. And then when they had a few lapses, I mean, Jake Oettinger to the rescue, 27 saves on the night for Otter, as he was really, really good. I'm wondering what the expected goals against average. I'll have to take a look at that for Otter, just because it didn't feel like it was a high danger night. The expected goals was just above 1, so not a ton, and that was at 5-on-5. Taking a look at it all, is 1.93, so a pretty mild night for him. Only had to make 3 high danger saves, and there was a few of those point blank chances for Morrissey that comes to mind. Other than that, I mean, they did a great job of not allowing Connor and Scheifele to get that seam pass, especially on the 5-on-3. They got a couple sticks on a few of those width of the rink passes, which broke that up, and not allowing them to really get the shots they wanted. They forced them into shots that they really don't want to take on a 5-on-3, which you're going to have to give up, is some of those, 15 to 20 feet left circle, right circle, maybe straightaway shots. But they did such a good job of clearing out in front. I mean, forwards too. It's a 5-man unit, especially defensively and just boxing out. I mean, there's a shift that Roope had. He's boxing out Lowry, doing a great job of not allowing him to take the eyes away of Otter, because if Otter sees it, he's going to make the save more times and not. So it was just a great combination in general for the Stars of kind of complementary hockey. You hear that all the time in football, right? Special teams kind of bleeds into your offense, and then so with defense, creating turnovers and different things like that. And just, it felt like complementary hockey, taking care of business in your own zone, then go play offense. This team can score. They're going to have no issues with that. They're too talented up front. And this is why I really harped on it in the episode yesterday about or a couple days ago, not the PK one, but a couple days ago, about this is fixable, right? The defense. Yeah, they probably need to go out and get the best defenseman. They're a little bit weak in that department, but their issues were more of just not defending as a unit. You got to have guys get back, get sticks in the way, take bodies, and just kill plays and neutralize rushes. And they got killed in transition and off the rush the last 4 games, really, for the majority of their homestand. And the Stars are a much better team when they're taking care of business and going on the job themselves. I thought they just did an excellent job of playing some complementary hockey. Probably the best defensive performance for the Stars this season. And of course, the shutout helps, because Otter was really good, but just really, really good in front of Otter, which I think is a great sign for things to come. They have the ability to do it. It's just the ability to do it for long stretches of time, not just a few periods like we saw against Colorado and Calgary. You got to be able to do it for 60 minutes, and it's really hard to do it in this league. You're going to cough up some leads. That's just the nature of this thing, and Pete DeBoer touches on that a lot. This is happening every night to somebody on most occasions. Sometimes you're going to have a lapse in play, and people are going to take advantage of you on that. So the Stars needed to tighten up their defense, and they certainly did. Let's go ahead and touch a bit more on the defensive core in general, and a little bit on Joe Pavelski, man, because Father Time just defies that man and Captain America, and we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is obsessed with getting you the best deals. We've all bought a ticket online. You show up to the stadium, the arena, and next thing you know, what is this? There's a railing in my way. There's a pole. I wouldn't have bought these tickets if I had known that. Well, that's why you need Game Time. It gives you the peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show up total up front, so you know what you're getting, a great deal, and you don't have to have all those hidden fees. Buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. They're obsessed with finding you ways to help save money on your tickets. They have deals on tickets right up to the start of an event, and this is football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater. It doesn't have to just be sports, and Game Time guarantees means you'll always get the best price. And if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. That's LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So the Dallas Stars pick up their 13th win on the season and are now solo second in the Central Division. Created some separation from the Winnipeg Jets, who, of course, were tied with the Stars at 26 points entering the evening. Colorado, 15-6-0. They're up to 30 points. They've been scorching recently through 21 games. The Stars have now improved their goal differential to plus 11, and they were a bit leaky in that 5-game homestand. I think they ended up giving up 21 goals in the 5 games. Those are 5, and they scored 18, which of course is not going to get the job done on most nights. And you gave up a few anomalies probably at the end of the season, right? You give up 6 and 7. And of course, some of those are empty netters, but look, it still goes to the statistical numbers. But again, the defense just really tightened up. I mean, some great nights for Hakanpaa, who played just over 21 minutes, 2.69 game score for him. I love this hockey stats cards. I think it just kind of gives you a great overview of who had a really, really great night. Also up there with him, Lindell, who played around 20 minutes. Of course, 2 block shots for him, 1.61. Harley, who was really, really good, didn't do a ton of things that I think jumped off the page to me. He, besides that one pass to Craig Smith as he was kind of backpedaling the fadeaway right on his tape that led to a great chance. But he's really, really coming into his own as an NHL defenseman, and he's starting to use his size, and he kind of now has that innate feel for when he needs to jump up in the rush and maybe when he needs to take it a bit slow and stand into defensive posture a bit more too. I think he's just so fun to watch. It's a shame that he was hurt for a few games, but he's the Star's second best defenseman, just with his size, his offensive ability. He makes just a lot of smart passes, and he puts guys in positive situations. He just seems to be so decisive with his puck movement and his skill, which is such a great sign for the Stars. I mean, they've hit a home run with him, and I can't wait to see where he is at the end of the season, because I mean, this is really his first full season in the National Hockey League, which is pretty crazy to kind of think about, just because he's been around and he's just been a name, kind of like Leody Tavares of the Rangers, right? Since he was like 18, he's like, this is the guy. And then he really kind of found his own. And it feels like Harley's going to be kind of that guy for the Stars this year, which is just a huge sign in general. Niels Lundqvist continues to be so good. I think he's so smart with his pinches. He knows when he needs to keep plays alive. I think Ryan Suter could take a bit of that, lesson to a degree, because sometimes Suter just, what are you doing, man? Have some awareness, which actually led to some odd man rushes in the game for Winnipeg, but they got the job done. Stars ended up blocking 15 shots in the game. They had a couple of big shots just right in front of Otter. Marchment with a great shot. I thought they defended as a 5-man unit so well. Guys staying with their man, keeping themselves between the puck. There was a few times when there's just some shots from Winnipeg that were thrown in the mixer, especially in that third period, just thrown in front because Winnipeg's trying to create something, and the Stars have good sticks, body position, and they're getting in the way in front of shooting lanes. And a lot of shots from Winnipeg just hit bodies and deflected wide. And the Stars were able to clean it up. It was just so nice for them to just really shut down a game too. They weren't pressuring to get offensive chances, especially in the third when Winnipeg's making that huge push. Of course, they're trying to find the equalizer, and the Stars were just patient. They weren't worried that they weren't playing with the puck very often, which is a hard thing to accept at some points, where we're just going to have to take our opportunities where we get them. A lot of it's going to be 45 seconds. The majority of it might be in our own zone. We got to get it out, hit the red line, chip in deep, get off for a change, and kind of live with that for a bit, because Winnipeg's going to be sending 2 to every puck. Stars do not have a lot of time and space. And then when they get their break, they end up cashing in. And of course, Tyler Seguin with his 7th goal of the season. But big shout out to just some of the other pairings than Miro and Suter, because I feel like that gets a lot of talk, mainly because of number 4. But I thought it was just a great effort from the D corps all around. And of course, you can't leave out the forwards and the job they did, of course. And big shout out to Pete DeBoer. He kind of whipped him into shape. He worked on things in practice, like backtracking, picking up guys, and it comes to fruition right away. So on to Calgary for the Dallas Stars, a place they've already won. And the last time it was Otter. Yeah, it was Otter. I think it was Wedgwood, but that was a back-to-back too. It was Otter who had an incredible night in Calgary, the owner of the Flames. Who's going to go this time? It could be Scott. I think Wedgwood might get a start, as Otter's now started 6 of the past 7, I believe it is. So he's been busy and a good solid start, but maybe you ride the hot hand, and I'm not opposed to that by any means. He's been really, really good in that building. You probably don't want to overthink it. Throw Oettinger out there. Let him get some revenge against Calgary, of course, who potted 6 on him last Friday. So that should be a fun contest. Look out tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Stars. There's some interesting information that's come out about Liam Bixel, the Stars defenseman and really high in prospect, who had in his contract he was able to go back to Europe to play, and he's exercised that option. So it looks like he's heading back to the Swedish Hockey League. May not touch on that tomorrow because there's not a whole lot of information on it. That's just about it. That's confirmed, I believe. I'm going to wait till maybe there's some more stuff out there to kind of chew on that before I give an opinion on it. But that is that news that's come into play recently, or at least it happened during the Stars game tonight. But other than that, maybe touch on Joe Pavelski. Maybe we'll save that for tomorrow and what he's done. I don't know. We need to get on the Joe Pavelski diet. He needs to be forefront and willing to share with the rest of the world how we can be dominant at age 40. The future Hall of Famer. Well, thank you so much, as always, for joining me today on Locked On Stars, all you everydayers out there, and making us your first listen. Be sure to hit that notification bell and follow along, hit subscribe. Always appreciate love and support, all your feedback. It was getting a little bleak there for a moment. We have a chance to get excited. Bing bong. I didn't say bing bong, so sorry out there, Stars fans. Bing bong. Stars back in the win column. Best 10-game start in franchise history on the road as they improve to 8-1-1. So that'll do it. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.